Welcome to Acuboost, an IIG product. Acuboost are IIG's embedded software enhancements for the Acumatica ERP product. Today we're going to go over the rental order processing. I'm going to start the presentation in the rental order entry program. Basically, what we've done, we've added some functionality to the sales order entry program to allow users to process rental orders. So the very first thing that is entered when you start a rental order is the starting and ending time for the rental order. So in this example, my rental order is going to start from February 21st to the April 16. Notice that I have two sets of date. I have a starting and ending date to manage the inventory availability. In our system, we keep track of time-based availability. So at any point in time, you will can see the requirement for on an item in next month, in the following month, or if you enter in a rental order for the future date, it would show you the availability of the product and those dates. In the system, we also have starting and ending date for billing. So if you have a situation that for whatever reason there's a teardown involved and you do not want to bill them for the entire rental period, you can put in a different billing date. In this example, I'm putting in 4/14, so the billing would be through February 21st to April 14, but the inventory availability would be updated through the April 16th date. As far as the product pricing, you have user definable bill codes, daily, weekly, monthly, that you can enter into the system. What the system is going to do for each bill code entered, it would look at the number of days and we're going to bill the client for, and the number of days that are entered for each bill code, and determine how many weeks and how many days it's going to bill the client. Here you have the ability to define whether you're billing the customer upfront, upon return, or periodic. Upfront basically means once you confirm the shipment of the rental order, the system will generate an invoice. Upon return, you have a term with the client that you bill them when they return it. Of course, periodic, many clients have long-term rentals and they like to generate invoices on weekly or monthly basis. The system has the ability to generate invoices based on this entered date, and by running a program, the system would look at the settings, determine if it needs to create an invoice. In our system, we have a concept of quantity on rental order and quantity on rent. Quantity on rental order is when an order is entered into the system, and quantity on rent is when a rental order is shipped. So with that said, I'm going to come here to add some items into the system. So rental items are just like sales items. In our rental contracts, in our sales orders, you can enter sales, rental, and labor items, and we will generate an invoice that would include both the rental items and the sales items that are generated all in one transaction. You can sell or rent the same item. So basically here, if I select add rental item, I have the ability to enter an item. In this example, I'm going to select one item here and just select it, and basically add that item to the order. We give you the ability to group items together into the kit. So you can enter individual items, select individual items, or you can enter a kit, which is a grouping of items, and using that, certain items are loaded. So if I come to this program and bring up that kit that I have defined, AV2500, you would see that that kit is defined with these 4 items. You can have both rental items and sales items entered as part of the kit, and of course you all can also have labor items. System will take this information and will load them into the sales order based on the grouping in the kit. In our system, items are flagged as rental or sell. So if you define in a tab that we add to enter the rental information, whether or not you're relying on rental of that item, what are the pricing for day, week, and month, whether it's a rental kit, which basically indicates load the items using our scheme as opposed to just processing rental kits for Acumatica. Also, kit processing means you're going to be doing a lot-based pricing. So only the main item has the price, and all the other prices set up as free item for all the other items. We bill for the rentals on invoice using miscellaneous charge codes. So those are linked to the items here. So once you're done with the item, you have the ability to process rental actions and confirm, basically create rental shipment. Again, create rental shipment would change the status of the quantity from quantity on rent to quantity on rental orders. I'll point out that for any item on this, any rental item, we will show you a time-based availability. So you can come in here and see what's the availability of that item for the orders period from 2/21 to 4/16. And notice you're seeing different lines. So at any time if the quantity information is impacted by an order going out or an order coming back, it will be shown here as a separate line. So if you need to subrent an item, users would be able to subrent the quantity for the shorter period of time. So any one of these items, you can view the availability for the item. You could also change the rental information for any specific line. So if only on this specific line I want to change the ending date, I could do that. So if only this item requires a setup and the item should be rented. We also keep track of all the rental statuses. So whenever an item goes out, when it's invoiced, when it's returned, the information would be displayed in the rental status screen. In our system, we allow for early rentals, late rentals, early rent returns, late returns, partial returns. All of them are managed. When a rental order goes out, we make sure that every quantity is returned, and every item is billed based on its billing date and when it was returned. So the system will reconcile that before it lets any product be returned. We have this rental status program that basically gives you the ability to enter in a sales order, a customer, an inventory item, or just leave those blank and enter any starting date, any ship date, any billing date, any end date, and see if you want to see what orders are coming back this week or what orders are coming back today. You have the ability to see those. So the system in this program would show you what products are to be shipped today, or what products are due coming in today, what products have been invoiced, what lines have been flagged for missing and damaged, what periodic billings have taken place for what periods, what's the period. So it's very good in that it would give you ability, you give the users the ability to take actions on these items. We also, for each serial number in the system, we show you for that serial number what's the current status, what order it's on, both historical and the current status of that item it's on stock. You could also set up for a given item that when the item is returned, to that the status of that item should go on inspection. So if you have situations that you want to return the product so if I have an item that is a serialized item, I have the ability for that item specify whether or not I want the status of that item to go into inspection, and the default return status here I can select inspection, and I basically have the ability to create as many statuses I want and tell the system which status codes are available to be placed on rental orders. So this product, now when it's returned, the status will go on inspection, and users would not be able to rent it again until using a program you bring the items up on the order and change this inspection status to return or damage. We have a program. This program basically you enter a date, and for the enter date it would figure out what invoices it needs to generate. So this program then it would show you what it's going to do for each order, how many days, how many billing period, what's the billing rate. So when an invoice is generated, the invoice would have the information that it needs. So this program would generate the invoice for us. And then we have the rental return program, which the users have the ability to come in and enter any day, any sales order that is being returned, and the system would show for that sales order, what were the quantities, and your users are able to put in, enter in quantity missing, quantity damage. We allow our customers to provide a grace period, and the product is not returned, create a missing invoice for that item, and it will issue the inventory odd, and we would charge the product as damaged, and get it out of the system. So I failed to mention that in the serialized inventory screen, if the equipment management and service management modules of Acumatica is installed, there's a link to the equipment number that is set up in the system for the serial number. So all the other information that are tracked by the system, by Acumatica system, are available to be viewed from the screen. This is a quick overview of the rental enhancement. I thank you very much for the opportunity to present it to you.